everybody, Dark Phoenix Ninja 92 here, and this is a bit of a public service announcement, I guess is the best term to use, because this is going up as an introductory section to my latest recording session of Guild Wars 2, because said recording session did not exactly go to plan, because there was something that I did not expect which went wrong. Okay, so how to explain this? Well, basically what happened is, lately I had to change a bunch of settings and install a major update to Windows. And in doing that, unbeknownst to me, my audio settings for my speakers were reset on all of my programs. So what this means is what I had set for my default device under playback devices was changed to something completely different, and I did not realize this until after I'd finished my recording session. So what this means is that none of my recording of Guild Wars 2, which is nearly an hour and a half long, has any audio recorded from the game. I have now rectified this, but I can't go back and fix it in the recording session itself. And due to the fact that Guild Wars 2 is an MMO, there are no save points. There are only things are saved as you go along, and you just leave and pick up at the point you were before, so there aren't saves. So if I wanted to redo this one session, I would have to delete Cora Ferris, start a new character with the same name, recreate them looking the same, and play through till I hit level 30 again, which would take a ridiculous amount of time. Far too long for it to be worth it, in my opinion. And I did not believe that it would be a good idea to simply not put this up on the YouTubes, because there are some fairly important story bits in this section. But fortunately, the in-game cutscenes and such did have subtitles on, so you'll be able to see what was happening and what people were saying. There just won't be any audio in the game itself. So I apologize for that, but I felt everyone deserved to know. So I hope you enjoy the recording session in spite of the lack of audio. And if anyone asks me, "Oh, Dark Phoenix, why is there no audio in this entire recording session?" I will refer them back to this video. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and so long. Hello, everybody, Dark Phoenix Ninja 92 here, and welcome back to Let's Play Guild Wars 2. At long bloody last, am I right? I'm sorry it took so long to get back to this Let's Play, but unfortunately, leveling myself to level 30, which is the requirement for the next stage of my story, meant that I needed to be at level 30, and when it comes to leveling up in this game, I tend to do it very badly. I'll just sporadically run around and do quests and kill things, which means it takes quite a while to get up a whole 10 levels. Not to mention the fact that it seems like you level slower the higher up you go. So that means it's going to take longer the further I get in the story. And I'll address later on why I didn't have any of my leveling stuff actually recorded and put up. There's a reason for it, but I want to get to the story, because I have been looking forward to this as much as you have, probably. Possibly more. But I am sick right now, as you'll notice from my voice. Or if the microphone randomly mutes out or something at some point, that will probably mean that I have to cough or sneeze or something. But anyways, last time we left off, Cora had rescued her sister from a group of bandits who had claimed that someone named Caudicus was responsible for this whole conspiracy that we are dealing with right now with Minister Artan. but the bandit died, so we can't exactly use the word of a dead bandit for information. But now we have to go and meet with the queen. So let's do this. Enter the instance, and hope she doesn't have us executed for wasting her time. Well, that was interesting, to say the least. So this has nothing to do with our whole conspiracy investigation. Instead, we have to go and fight dragons. Or fight undead, rather. And apparently work for dragons. Undead working for dragons. That's certainly an interesting way of doing things. And it's quite far south. And getting there would mean going through Queensdale and Kessex Hills. And we've already cleared out both areas of quests and everything. So there's nothing worth doing in there. Same with Caldeon Forest. I have a couple of the other low-level areas that we're still working on clearing out. But as far as Queensdale and Kessex Hills go, there's no point of walking the whole way there, even if we might get an interesting event or two. Going that far, it's just not worth it as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to fast travel to this trade camp waypoint, and I'll see you when I get there. Though, I have to say, I'm leaning more towards this Order of Whispers, even though, in terms of this quest right now, even though we know basically nothing about any of them, just because I am a thief. I am a thief, and the idea of a stealthy approach tends to seem like the kind of thing that would suit Cora more than just brute force direct attacks. But we'll see what they have to say first. I'm not going to make an immediate decision. Okay. Unfortunately, I am busy. Okay, then. What have you got to say? And why should I choose your plan over the others? That's what I want to know. Directed at everyone in there, by the way. Ah, interesting. So the Order of Whispers is not going to actually take part, eh? They just like to have a little more information before they act? Makes sense. But will the Order be working with me in the future? Absolutely, you'll be seeing a great deal more of us in the future. Good luck. Seeks to subtly influence the races of the world to make them unify against the dragons. Influence? Do you mean manipulate them? We pull strings, yes, but isn't that the nature of politics? Our goal is to fight the dragons, and that is a noble purpose. I suppose you have a point. Thank you for clarifying, then. So they trick people into doing something that they'd otherwise be bickering about doing. But yeah, for these two, I basically already made up my mind. We are going to go with the Crusaders plan. Because as far as I'm concerned, she's right. Steel and soldiers are a known factor that we can use against a hostile threat. This guy's magical device is theory. And we're not going to use theories to combat something like this. I'm ready to decide. Excellent. Tell us, do you want to join the Vigil's full offensive or go with the Priory's clever new toy? I've decided to go with the Vigil's plan. Now we're getting somewhere. My squad and I will wait for you outside Lichcroft Mere. We'll find those kids and crush some Risen along the way. You Vigil types don't stand still for long, do you? I like that. See you there. And I will take those outlaw shoulders. And deposit all materials. Let's see. Equip that to me. Okay. Sorry about the sudden pause there. Had to take care of some stuff. Now, back to inventory management. And back to hoping that I don't get another interruption of this sort, I suppose. Let's see here. Iron Sword of Venom. I'm going to switch to a sword. Wonder what will happen to my abilities then. Hero equipment. Okay, I'm going to swap out my gun on slot 2 for a sword in the main slot. I'm certainly going to have an easier time with 2 melee weapons, considering that's the way I typically fight. But okay, we are now in Operation Search Keswick's Hill for the Undead, as I like to call it. So, turn around and head this way, it looks like. Nothing wrong with that. But I feel like this is a good time to explain why none of my leveling up made it into the Let's Play. Because I did record that. In fact, I recorded about 4 to 5 hours of me just straight up leveling. And I'm sure you're wondering why none of that's in the Let's Play. Well, the simple answer is I recorded it, and then after I re-encoded the footage in Handbrake, I went back and watched it, and, well, it was kind of boring. I was just going from point A to point B repeatedly and killing a bunch of creatures. It wasn't all that interesting, quite honestly. So, and I have to say, I'm really liking these abilities now. As I was saying, it really wasn't all that interesting, and to be honest, my commentary was kind of dull, and I could not find anything really interesting to say. Let's not die here, shall we? As I was saying, could not really find anything to say particularly interesting. Which was a problem, considering that I want to try and avoid uploading boring crap. And that's what would have been there if I had gone with that. Just a lot of boring crap. As it was not that interesting. Am I seriously dying this often? That's embarrassing, honestly. But the sword is nice. Having sword abilities primarily is handy. But as I was saying, it just wasn't that interesting. As the travel and the locales were really cool to look at, and I loved them, but the main problem was that what was there to see, he was not really worth sticking around for, in a lot of ways. Because it was great to look at and all, but when you're traveling from point to point as often as I was to get to the next quest objective, then there were very few things to talk about because I didn't feel like I could just repeatedly be chattering on about how beautiful the world was without boring people. That's the main reason why I decided to not upload that despite recording it. But currently I'm considering some options for ways that I could mitigate that in future. And when it comes to leveling from 30 to 40, as I'm gonna have to do in order to get to the next story bit after this one, I think I might just go ahead and upload it, but upload a cut down variant. That is to say, not upload the entire thing basically unedited and cut into chunks, but upload it after I time-lapse sections of it and cut out some of the boring bits. So I'd basically be giving you a highlights reel of the whole thing. Thoughts on this? Come on then, let's not die. That would be really nice. I prefer not dying. And I just died. Fucking wonderful. Now I'm going to have to watch a bunch of other players kill that thing and hope one of them remembers to revive me. Which they didn't. That's annoying. But at least the place I was rallying at was right next to me. That makes it a little more convenient, as that was a battle for a contested waypoint, which are always kind of interesting, honestly. And I will continue my story now. Brute force. Never thought I, as a thief, would be going for that. But it just seemed like the realistic approach to take. I mean, why use an experimental device when you can go with a method that's been proven? Is Cora's thoughts on the matter? I hate those words. Unfortunately, your methods are a little bit too direct for my tastes. I'm only working with you because the stealth people were not an option, and that mage guy was an idiot. Quite frankly, those are the only real reasons I decided to work with you. I would have preferred to go some kind of assassin stealth route, honestly, but I didn't have that choice. Okay, then. We'd better hurry this along, I guess. And whack this guy with a sword repeatedly. I am rather enjoying using the sword as my primary weapon, I have to say. Okay, come on, you're going down. But yeah, as neat as it is to fight like this, I am not a direct approach, just blaze a brute force path to my target type of fighter. I prefer subtlety and stealth, which is why I do not feel like Korra would really fit in as far as the Vigil is concerned. No, no, no. We'll be taking the stealthier approach when that option opens up. I hope it does. I really couldn't say. I mean, my knowledge about this game's storyline is minimal at best. Beyond what you've seen in this Let's Play, I have watched Angry Joe's review of Guild Wars 2 a couple of times, so what he talks about in regards to the story in that is pretty much my only knowledge of this storyline, and the only one I know anything about is the human one. Well, glad to see you guys are alright. That would have been awkward if we found your corpses lying around. Alright then. Fighting the undead. Excellent. Time to kill some undead. I do love the combat in this game. It's quite fun. And just the whole switching what abilities I have access to based on what weapon is equipped. That is something I absolutely love. And I can swap back and forth between weapons literally at will. It's a lot more open and free than what I'm used to in a lot of other MMOs, where you just have one set of abilities and that's it, no matter what your weapon is. undead attackers coming in, and we are not going to run out to face them because that would probably end with my ass being dead. But I will kill you a lot by slicing your ass to bits. And I have to say, I'm loving the fresh perspective here. What with the fact that we literally went from politics and uncovering a conspiracy to fighting off the undead in the matter of a single chapter. And I just love how things can change so fast. And it's not like we've forgotten about that whole thing, I don't believe. But we have bigger priorities than politics and conspiracies at the moment. So we can disregard the whole thing with Caudicus for the time being and just focus on killing undead. But, and I've said this before, this game does an excellent job at telling stories. And it's definitely unique with the way it does things. As for sure, this game has to be the only one I've ever played where they were like, yeah, you know those undead that are attacking you? They work for a dragon. Yeah, that's a thing. And I just find it hilarious how the story just casually threw that in there. Yeah, those undead are a dragon's servants, by the way. And it was just basically super casual about saying it. Yeah, those undead, they work for a dragon. And I just found it hilarious how they could be so casual about it. Like ordering breakfast, basically. But that's the last of them.